right, and the score!
And McClellan, he could go. Burst of speed.
The header, another goal's in!
Heisman Memorial Trophy. Bryce Young.
A shot from the front, 3-1 Crimson Tide. We talked about Alabama.
Alabama is still Alabama.
Roll Tide and welcome to the Crimson Tide Productions studio inside Bryant-Denny Stadium for another episode of TideTV This Week. I'm Roger Hoover, joined by my co-host Kinsey Hughes. Kinsey, Roll Tide, it's great to see you.
Roll Tide, Roger, and guess what? It is officially the third week in October, baby! Alabama, Tennessee! But before we get into that, it was an SEC West showdown this past Saturday night in Bryant-Denny with the #1 ranked Crimson Tide taking on the Texas A&M Aggies.
Jalen Milroe got the start with Bryce Young out due to an injury he suffered to his shoulder in the win over Arkansas. After a scoreless first quarter, Milroe led the Crimson Tide right down the field on Alabama's first drive of the second quarter. Milroe connected with tight end Cameron Latu for the touchdown, 7-0 Crimson Tide. Texas A&M tied the game on a 5-yard touchdown pass, but Milroe answered right back, connecting with Jermaine Burton for 35 yards and the score. The good guys back on top, 14-7. Texas A&M tied the game once again at 14-all with his 3-yard touchdown, but Will Reichert gave the Crimson Tide the 17-14 lead at the half with his 50-yard field goal.
Alabama opened the second half with a touchdown on their first drive. Milroe to Ja'Cory Brooks for the 29-yard score, and look at him go! The Aggies added a couple of field goals and got the ball back with 1:50 remaining on the game clock. Aggies drove down, had a shot to win it on the final play of the game, first and goal at the 2, but Hayes King couldn't connect. Why? Because of Terrion Arnold breaking it up. It was a nail-biter all the way to the very end, Roger, and I personally was exhausted.
Same.
So I don't really know how they did it, but the Crimson Tide prevailed over the Aggies 24-20.
I think the fans were great. I think the fans probably had as much to do with us winning a game as anything. I think the atmosphere they created certainly keep the energy level up with our players, but you know, we did a lot of things that were not winning football. You know, penalties, 4 turnovers, didn't take advantage of opportunities in the red zone, come up empty-handed a couple times, whether we missed a field goal, didn't score a touchdown, whatever it might be. So we got a lot of things that we can work on. We got a lot of things that we need to improve on.
Coach Saban and the staff selected 6 for their Players of the Week in the win over Texas A&M. On offense, Jahmyr Gibbs led the way with 154 rushing yards. On defense, Will Anderson Jr. harassed the Aggies offense all night with 8 quarterback hurries. Brian Branch led the team with 9 tackles, including 2 for loss, and Byron Young, who had 6 tackles and a team-high 5 assists. Jordan Battle and Kendrick Law were selected on special teams.
With the win, Alabama improved to 6-0 on the year with a 24-20 win over Texas A&M.
Let's take an all-access look at the Crimson Tide's win under the lights in Bryant-Denny Stadium this past Saturday.
We got something to prove. It's all about you being your best as a football player when your best is needed. You'll be denied what you want or not.
Play fake, quick strike, slant, incomplete. Broken up by Arnold. Rusher coming. King is in trouble. Down he goes. Chris Braswell gets to the quarterback. Milroe, he'll take off again. Here he goes again. Jalen Milroe.
Looking, throwing. It is caught. Touchdown, Alabama. Jalen Milroe to Cameron Latu.
And they bring him down from behind, and he almost lost the ball.
Milroe looking across the middle. Catch made. Burton breaks the tackle. 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Alabama. 35 yards. And he's going down. 3rd sack of the game for Alabama. King looking, blitz coming, being chased, throws it, is intercepted. Arnold the pick, 40. Arnold down the sideline, left side. The snap, the spine, the kick is up, plenty of lag. This one is perfect. And Milroe looking 3rd and long, swings it out, catch made Brooks. 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Ja'Cory Brooks. Finding the house, 29 yards.
Rolling, here comes pressure and incomplete. Will Anderson. Texas A&M right in the thick of this game. At the 2-yard line with 1 play left.
freeze at the Alabama 2. 4-point Bama lead. We're trying to keep it that way. King gets a snap. Time. Throws. It is incomplete. Zeros on the clock. Ball game. No flags. Alabama wins. Let's get out of here.
Roger, we officially have a time for next week's homecoming matchup against the 16th ranked Mississippi State Bulldogs, and it'll be another primetime match underneath the lights in Bryant-Denny.
I love Under the Lights in Bryant-Denny. Alabama and Mississippi State will be the only SEC matchup of the day on ESPN, as the Tide and the Bulldogs will kick off at Bryant-Denny Stadium at 6 p.m. next Saturday.
That should be a great matchup next weekend here in Tuscaloosa.
Certainly should be. Now let's take a look at our Crimson Tide and the NFL Players of the Week.
For the second week in a row, Las Vegas Raiders running back Josh Jacobs set a new career high in rushing yards. Last week it was 144. This week he got 10 more at 154. Jacobs averaged 7.3 yards per carry and finished with a rushing touchdown. Jacobs also added 5 catches for 39 yards.
Derrick Henry also finished over the century mark as he had 102 yards on the ground. Henry also had a couple of touchdown runs in the Titans' 21-17 win over Washington.
There was also a special moment in that Tennessee-Washington game. After being shot twice during an attempted robbery just 6 weeks ago, running back Brian Robinson Jr. made his NFL debut with the Washington Commanders.
And after the game was over, Robinson and Derrick Henry met up to swap jerseys. It's great to see the Crimson Tide connection in the NFL that is so strong. Great to see Brian Robinson Jr. just back on the field.
It really is. And the Commanders originally were really high on Robinson before the season began, so it's really great to see him back out there doing what he loves.
Absolutely, Kenzie. And the Alabama soccer team just keeps on making history. We'll have the latest on the Crimson Tide, where they're ranked this week, and also we'll have a special visit from head coach Wes Hart. That and more coming up next right here on TideTV This Week.
Tide TV This Week is presented by the University of Alabama, where legends are made. Ford, for great offers on F-150, see your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide.
The lights of Tuscaloosa. What a finish we're in store for.
If you're looking to visit this stadium. They got it figured out here.
It's more than a buzz at Bryant-Denny Stadium. It's electric. Here comes the Tide.
Coliseum in Tuscaloosa.
Players play, tough players win championships. If we're blue-collar basketball, we're winning this game. Okay, you play harder than them, you win the game.
Roll, Tide, roll is exactly doing that. It's hard to hear yourself in here.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. How many times can we say the Alabama soccer team has made history, but it just keeps happening, Roger?
Absolutely. With 2 wins this past week, the Crimson Tide have now won 9 in a row. It's the longest win streak in program history. Alabama picked up the first of those 2 wins against Ole Miss this past Thursday night here in Tuscaloosa.
That's right. And after a goal by the Rebels, the Tide responded with 2 goals in just 35 seconds apart. Felicia Knox leads the nation in assists, but check this out, Roger. She can score it too, all by herself. Absolutely incredible shot. Then just a few seconds later, Knox and Riley Tanner assisted Riley Parker on this goal to make it 2-1 Bama.
And in the 25th minute, Felicia Knox with a corner kick again. This time, Macy Clem heads it through the net for the goal. Brooke Steer also added the Tide's 4th goal of the match. It was the first time this season any team had scored more than 1 goal against the Rebels, as the Tide defeated Ole Miss by a score of 4-1, an impressive win over the 20th ranked Ole Miss Rebels.
Win was super impressive, as it was the 4th top 20 win of the season for the Crimson Tide, and it tied the program record with 8 wins in a row. The win was Alabama's 14th win in a row at home, and another program record. These girls are rolling, Roger.
Love to see it. On Sunday, the Crimson Tide traveled to take on Baton Rouge and LSU on that past Sunday. Crimson Tide dominated the Tigers with 5 goals from 5 different players. Kate Henderson got the Tide in the scoreboard first with a goal in the 20th minute. Gianna Paul added another in the 31st minute. Then the nation's leader once again scored one of her own to make it 3-0. Raina Reyes added a penalty kick, and Riley Parker put the exclamation point on the win with a beautiful kick into the upper right corner of the net. The Tide rolled big and Red Stick 5-0.
I think that's what we call an and one in my professional sports experience. But the win was the 9th in a row for the Alabama soccer team, which is the most in Crimson Tide history.
And with those 2 wins, the Tide just keeps moving on up in the polls.
That's right. Alabama once again made history as the Tide reached their highest ranking in program history once again. Alabama moved up 2 spots in all 3 polls this week, from 4th to number 2, just behind UCLA. Wow, roll Tide to that. And this Sunday here at Tuscaloosa at 11, it'll be number 2 Alabama taking on number 7 Arkansas. Admission is free, and there will be free coffee and donuts, so come out and support the Tide during this historic season.
Look forward to getting back to town from Knoxville for that. And to talk more about this weekend's matchup, head coach Wes Hart joins us now, along with our Delaney Jones.
Excited to have you here today, Coach Hart. The team has a big top 10 matchup this Sunday against Arkansas. Talk me through Arkansas' style of play and how you've been preparing the team.
Yeah, you know, Arkansas has been really kind of the cream of the crop in the SEC the last few years. I think they're 3-time SEC champions, so we know that they're going to be a good opponent. So, you know, right now I believe they've got more of a target on their back than we do, you know, being the defending SEC champs. But they're a high-energy team. They're very good at pressing and disrupting rhythm. It's going to be a difficult challenge for us. But with this group, you know, with our confidence and belief right now, I believe we're ready.
The students have shown out to support this season. I mean, there's been standing room only in the stadium. What impact does the crowd have on the team, and how is that going to impact the game Sunday? Yeah, you know, huge. They've been awesome for us, and it really kind of started with that Clemson game, and then South Carolina, and then just kind of kept up through the SEC play. And there's no question about it that our crowd has been a huge reason for our success. You know, the players they love playing in front of that crowd, and you know, with our momentum, it helps tremendously. So, you know, we're hopeful 11 a.m. on a Sunday is you know, not the ideal time for a big crowd, but we're hoping that we can get people in the stands and help us with this one. Now, the team is the highest ranked they've ever been in program history. What does it mean to you and the girls to be part of this historical season of Alabama soccer?
I think it's awesome. It's a little bit tricky though, you know, trying to manage, you know, kind of getting excited and celebrating, you know, little successes like this, but at the same time, you know, trying to keep our feet on the ground and know that you know, we've not arrived. There's still more that we need to accomplish. And so I think you know, at some point, you know, when the season ends, I think we'll sit back and really enjoy it more. But for now, I think it's, you know, just kind of trying to take it one game at a time and keep building off of what we've been doing.
Coach, we've got to talk about Felicia Knox for a moment. I mean, the SEC and national honors, breaking school records. What does a player like that bring to the team? Yeah, Felicia's been fantastic, and you know, it's hard to just, you know, I know you mentioned Felicia, and she's been having an incredible season. It's hard to just single one player out on our team now, because I think you could go, you know, through the roster and through the lineup and really pick out any player on our team is having an incredible year. But you know, you mentioned Felicia, so specifically about Felicia, just so important in our attack, just kind of the rhythm that she brings to the game, and just kind of able to control tempo and connect passes and just kind of help our flow in the attack. Now, as the team has climbed up the rankings, you've talked how the girls have gone from hunting to being the hunted in the rankings. Has that changed how you motivate the team? Not really. You know, I mean, we, at the end of the day, just try to focus on us, and you know, we need to continue doing what we do well. You know, there's little principles that we have that we try to focus on each and every game, and you know, regardless of opponent, you know, whether we're playing, you know, a top 10 team or whether we're playing you know, a team that's unranked, it doesn't change who we are and what we're trying to do. And so, for us, it's less about you know, any of that, and more about just who we are and what we want to do. Thanks for talking with us, Coach. Good luck in the game this weekend, and good luck on the rest of the season. Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Tide TV This Week is presented by Ford. For great offers on F-150, see your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide. The University of Alabama, where legends are made.
There's a formula for success. It takes practice, persistence, and an unwavering drive. Together, our aspirations become reality. Every triumph has its origin story. Ours begin right here. The University of Alabama, where legends are made.
Welcome to a sold-out Coleman Coliseum in Tuscaloosa.
If we're blue-collar basketball, we're winning this game.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. The Alabama football team hits the road this week as the Tide travels to Knoxville to take on the 5-0 Tennessee Volunteers.
That's right, and for a preview of this week's matchup, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Christopher England joining us now. Let's talk about the Vols, Christopher.
Wow, that's quite an introduction, Kenzie. I appreciate that. I'll Venmo you later. But as far as the third Saturday in October, it's been a series of streaks. Beginning in 1971, Alabama won 11 straight. The Crimson Tide won 7 straight from 86 to 92, and Alabama has currently won 15 in a row over Tennessee. During that 15-game streak, Alabama has dominated the Vols, defeating Tennessee by an average of 39-13. There have been a lot of great moments in recent history in this series. In 1990 against third-ranked Tennessee, with a score tied at 6 with 1:35 left in the game, Tennessee lined up for what looked to be the game-winning field goal, but Stacey Harrison blocked the kick for the Crimson Tide. That gave Phillip Doyle the opportunity to win it for Bama, and Doyle came through. As time expired, Doyle's 48-yard kick sailed through the uprights as the Crimson Tide broke the hearts of the third-ranked Volunteers with the 9-6 win. In 2005, with the score tied at 3, it looked like Tennessee was about to score the go-ahead touchdown, but Roman Harper delivered a huge hit to the Tennessee ball carrier, causing him to fumble, resulting in a touchback. Brody Crowell led the Tide down the field, and Jamie Christensen came on with just 18 seconds left to win the game. Christensen's kick was money as Alabama defeated Tennessee in the nail-biter 6-3. Coach Saban is 15-0 against Tennessee since he became the head coach of the Crimson Tide, and there haven't been very many close games. But the most exciting one was in 2009. An undefeated Crimson Tide found themselves leading 12-10 with 4 seconds left on the clock. Tennessee went for the game-winning kick from 44 yards out. Terrence Cody blocked it, his second of the game, shocking the Volunteers, and head coach Lane Kiffin as the Tide won 12-10 en route to their 13th national championship. Tennessee enters with a perfect 5-0 record and ranks 6th in the nation. The Vols have an overtime win over Pittsburgh, a close 38-33 win over Florida, and the Vols decimated LSU last weekend in Baton Rouge, 40-13. Hendon Hooker leads the Tennessee offense that is number 1 in the nation in total offense and are a perfect 28 of 28 in the red zone. The Vols are second in the nation in scoring offense, averaging almost 47 points per game. Hooker has completed 70% of his passes, averaging 286 passing yards per game with 10 touchdowns and not a single interception on the season. But Hooker hasn't faced a defense like the Tides yet. Last week, Alabama had a season-high 14 quarterback hurries, leads the SEC in total defense, and is 6th in the nation in scoring defense, allowing just over 12 points per game. Hooker has several receiving threats, including speedster Jalen Hyatt, who leads the team with 27 receptions for 388 yards and 5 touchdowns. While Tennessee is number 1 in the nation in total offense, the Vols haven't been as good on defense. Tennessee ranks 87th in total defense, allowing almost 400 yards per game. The Vols are 11th in the nation in rushing defense, allowing just 89 yards per game, but part of that has been due to opposing teams having to pass to play catch-up. The Tennessee defense will have their hands full, with Alabama running back Jahmyr Gibbs the nation's leader in rushing yards per carry, averaging 8.3 yards per attempt. Quarterback Bryce Young's status is still up in the air, but if Young can go, look for the Tide to take advantage of the Vols' defense that is 128th in the nation in pass defense, allowing 307 yards per game through the air. An area the Tide will have to improve on from last week is turnover margin. Alabama had 4 turnovers last week and is 12th in the SEC and 115th in the nation in turnover margin at -5. Tennessee leads the SEC at +5, 10 better than the Tide. While Alabama has won 15 in a row over Tennessee, the Tide has also been successful against the rest of the SEC East, winning 35 out of their last 36 matchups. Kickoff is scheduled for 2:30, and it will be the Crimson Tide's 3rd game in a row on CBS. Stay with us. We'll have more Tide TV this week coming up next.
We need a huge crowd to pack Coleman Coliseum.
Davis with the spin on the layup. Right to the basket, lays it up, lays it in despite the contact. What? You better touch your mouth, girl. Woo. Stop it, Brittany.
Somebody stop me, I'm on a groove.
There you see the Crimson Tide ready to go.
Go.
Campbell down in Alabama. There's Jacobs.
Taken by Layla Smith.
Down and Alabama's back on top. Blocked by Jacobs. And blocked for
Alabama. They needed service direction.
Are you kidding me? Ray. And a point for Alabama on a long rally.
Move.
Welcome back. The Alabama volleyball team was back in Foster Auditorium on Wednesday night as the Tide hosted the Missouri Tigers.
And what a performance by Rashinda Reed's squad. The Crimson Tide swept Missouri for their first SEC win of the season. The Tide won the first set 25-21 before having to battle back and forth to earn a hard-fought victory in set 2, 29-27. But the Tide was impressive in the third and final set with a dominating 25-10 win to sweep the Missouri Tigers.
The sweep is the Tide's third of the season, and with 4 service aces against the Tigers, Abby Margema improved her league-leading season total to 45. Also, Kennedy Adams and Sarah Edwards both finished in the top 10 to lead the Alabama women's golf team to an 8th place finish at the Illini Women's Golf Invitational. Adams finished tied for 4th at 11 under par and scored 20 birdies over 54 holes of play, the most of any golfer in the tournament. Edwards finished tied for 7th at 10 under.
Don't go anywhere. We'll have our plays and players of the week coming back up in just 90 seconds.
Welcome to a sold-out Colbert Coliseum in Tuscaloosa.
If we're blue-collar basketball, we're winning this game.
The lights of Tuscaloosa. What a finish we're in store for.
If you're
I need to try it first.
looking to visit this stadium, they got it figured out here.
It's more than a buzz at Bryant-Denny Stadium. It's electric. Here comes the Tide.
Felicia Knox. Off the head of Orcus and to the back. Alabama's even it up on a corner kick. Macy Clam. Alabama with a 3-1 lead.
LSU is flirting with danger, and that hits the post and glances in. And Alabama is pouring it on.
Being chased, throws, it is intercepted. Arnold the pick, 40. Arnold down the sideline, left side, and there's the takeaway for Alabama. 5, Milroe looking across the middle. Catch made, Burton, 10-5, touchdown Alabama, 35 yards. Looking, throwing, it is caught, touchdown Alabama. Milroe looking, 3rd and long, swings out, catch made, Brooks, 10-5, touchdown, Ja'Cory Brooks. Time, throws, it is incomplete, zeros on the clock, ball game, no flags.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. Those were our ATI plays of the week. Now let's take a look at our players of the week brought to you by Legacy of Hope. Jameer Gibbs led the Crimson Tide in offense in the win over Texas A&M with 154 rushing yards and 186 all-purpose yards.
Redshirt freshman defensive back Terrion Arnold had his best game in an Alabama uniform on Saturday. He had a key interception and also is second on the team with 8 tackles and had a huge pass breakup on the final play of the game to preserve the win for the Crimson Tide.
Moving to soccer, Felicia Knox had 2 goals and 2 assists in Alabama's 2 SEC wins this past week. Knox leads the nation in assists by 4 with 14.
Goalkeeper McKinley Crone set the Alabama record for most victories by a goalie in the win over LSU with 31. And she also tied the single season record with 13 with 4 matches still to go in this regular season.
Huge congratulations to our Legacy Hope players of the week.
We certainly hope to see you back here next week for another edition of Tide TV This Week.
Have a great weekend, everybody. Roll Tide, and it's the 3rd Saturday in October, baby.
Let's go, Roll Tide.
This has been a presentation from Learfield.